Hey, what's going on, guys?
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Alec from Scribbles Studios, and welcome back to another story time. Hopefully this one's a little bit more put together than last time, because we weren't necessarily fully sure on how we were putting the layout, but now we're going to hopefully be a little bit better. But this time, for those of you who don't know, story time, we pretty much just pull things out of this cup as it's our turn to read. Whoever starts gets 2, whoever doesn't gets 1. We go for approximately 10 minutes, switching off every 2, so it kind of just depends. And she's starting this time, I believe, so...
Yes. This time we're going to do it slightly differently than the last video. We're going to pull a word, and I think we're going to brainstorm just a little bit, and then we're going to start our timer, and we're going to go for it, and then add the other words as we go. Is that correct?
Yep.
Awesome.
So she gets a little bit. Hooray.
I get a little bit of prep time. Computer.
Okay, computer.
Computer.
Start the timer. We get 15 seconds to brainstorm.
Okay. Let's see. 15 seconds.
Go. Okay.
So
we could make this in like a school setting.
A school setting. It could be like
kind of
like a computer class where kids are learning how to
class.
type.
I guess that's all we can do now. That you think too hard.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, 15 seconds. It goes by really fast.
It really does. I don't know if that was enough time. Okay.
All right, 10 minutes, switching off every 2.
Ready, set, begin. Jimmy was a normal 3rd grader, like the rest of his class, right? Except for this year, Jimmy realized that he didn't know anything about how to type on a computer. And he felt like the rest of his class did. Very first day, they're going into their computer class, and there's rows and rows and rows of screens all throughout the classroom. And an old man stood at the front of the class with his glasses all the way down at his nose and a big pot belly and his nice little tie with flamingos on it. "Welcome in, class," he gestured everybody in. He had a very different voice than their homeroom teacher, Mrs. Sanchez, who had a very soft voice. His was kind of big, maybe a little gravelly. Jimmy walked into his class and they all got assigned numbers of their computers. His number was number 7, right at the front of the classroom. He felt like everybody could see him sitting at his computer. But as he walked over, he sat down at his computer and...
It's not my turn yet.
Oh, it's not his turn yet. I gotta keep going. Sat down at his computer and just stared at the screen. He could see his reflection. This isn't a mirror. It's a computer. Which, okay, Jimmy's not totally unfamiliar with computers. He has computers at his house. His mom has a computer. His dad has a computer. But the thing he's unfamiliar with was the keyboard. Looking at all those letters, he knew how to read. He knew how to write, but typing? Typing was a whole different ballgame. Whole different ballgame for little Jimmy. The teacher stood up at the front of the class after all the students were settled and said, "Hello, class. My name is Mr. Withers." Withers. Nice name. As Mr. Withers kept talking.
Mr. Withers kept talking, and he seemed like a pretty decent fellow. Not a super good one. He was just kind of like your average substitute teacher kind of guy coming in, just being like, "Hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try my hardest." And I mean, he was a little bit out of his league because he's never taught a computer class before, even though he's been around a little bit. This was kind of during the early times of computers where they were kind of the massive dinosaur boxes style. And he's more of that English literature kind of guy. He can tell stories, he can make people creative write, and here he is with these 3rd graders and these massive dinosaur machines. So he stands up at the front, he's like, "Hi, Mr. Withers. Today we will be learning," he looks down at his notes, "keyboard typing lessons." And little Jimmy, I believe that's his name, right? Little Jimmy's like, "I hate this class. I absolutely hate this class. This is the worst thing I've ever had to deal with in my life." And, Mr. Withers comes up and is like, that's kind of a bit of the outburst. What's your problem? And little Jimmy's like, "I hate keyboards. Keyboards are the worst things. I can't type. I don't know how to do that." And Mr. Withers He was really, really calm. He was a really nice little calm guy. And he's like, you know, I felt that way when I was first learning how to type. But you know how old I was? Little Jimmy's like, I don't know. How old were you? And he's like, I was 35. 35 when I learned to type, and I was not sure how to do it. Never seen a typewriter before, never seen one of these random keyboards before, and computers just barely came out during the time, so I was a little confused myself.
Jimmy sat there for a second. He was 35 when he learned to type. Jimmy started laughing in Mr. Withers' face. Mr. Withers chuckled a little bit too. Yes, I know, it's silly. But guess what? Your parents probably learned around the same time, maybe a little younger, than that I did on how to type. And Jimmy, what? No way, they've known how to type forever. Mr. Withers shook his head. No, probably not. But if I can learn to type at 35, and your parents can learn to type at whatever age they were at, you can learn to type right now. Jimmy. Fine. I'll learn to type. And he sat down back in his seat, Mr. Sassy Pants. And Mr. Withers went back up to the front and said, everybody turn on your screens, get your computers going, and you're going to log into such and such typing website. Whatever website they were going to learn to use how to type. As the class period went on, and Jimmy, using his typing website, slowly started to get the hang of it. It was kind of fun, and they had to learn where to place their hands, where to sit on their chairs, how to sit straight up. It's kind of hurting his back a little bit though, but he was doing okay. Eventually, the class period ended. They all had to turn off their screens and head back to homeroom. And Jimmy, surprisingly, he surprised himself, he felt a little bummed. Man, I wish I could type more. And Mr. Withers looked at him and said, well, come back in 2 days and we'll be in this class again. And Jimmy said, okay, I'll be ready. And he ran off with the rest of his class.
And as he was running down the hallway, his mind couldn't get off of this weird keyboard typing lesson program thing. It felt like a game. And that was really fun. He was like a video game, but with a keyboard and typing? How does that work? So the day goes by, he goes through all of his classes. He goes through homeroom, he goes through some other financial literature kind of thing, where they were starting to teach him about little coins, they taught him about time, they taught him about math, etc. And it was finally time to go home. He went home and he was super excited to tell his mom about school today. He's like, hey mom, so I finally got to start learning about this thing on the computer. It's called a keyboard. I got to start typing. And she's like, oh, did you? Hey, I want to tell you a little story. I was actually 24 when I first learned how to type. And Jimmy's like, you know, Mr. Withers was right. You guys didn't know how to type forever. And his little mind was blown. And he was so excited that he started to run around the house. And he started to run around and he was having a little time of his life. And he's like, I can't wait to go back tomorrow. And he keeps going. And, he starts to go a little reckless because he's a little third grade boy. So he's having a lot of fun. And he keeps running and he keeps running until eventually he trips. What does he trip on? He trips on his mother's purse. And he falls and he hits his head. He hits his head really, really hard on the edge of a table. One of the coffee tables that it was sat right next to. And his mom was very scared. It was like she ran over to him and she's like, Jimmy, are you okay? Jimmy didn't say anything.
Jimmy was out cold, with a little bit of blood trickling down his head. Jimmy, please wake up, honey! His mom shouted for her husband. He ran downstairs. What's wrong? It's Jimmy! They both grabbed him, ran him to the car. She grabbed her purse that he tripped over and they drove him. all the way to the hospital. Later, Jimmy wakes up. Man, my head hurts, Jimmy thinks to himself. What happened? He looks around. Whoa, he's in a big white room. Everything's white or light blue or gray. He's in a weird plastic dress. What's going on? He turns and he sees his mom. He says, Mom, where are we? His mom turns around. Jimmy! Oh my goodness, you woke up. I was so worried. She runs over to his side, and his dad turns around. He was right with her. Jimmy! Nurse! Nurse, he's awake! His dad runs and goes and gets a nurse. Jimmy's like, Mom, what happened? She said, you were so excited about typing that you tripped over my purse and you hit your head really hard, sweetheart, but you're okay. You're gonna be okay. And Jimmy sits there for a second and says, man, typing? Man, I don't remember what I learned in my class about typing. And Jimmy starts to cry a little, and his mom helps him out. And she says, it's okay, sweetheart. Here. She hands him a water bottle. And it has a little smiley face on it and says, get better soon. We'll type again later. And that is the end of our story.
Gotta say, quite the interesting story. Had to take a weird turn because I pulled purse. So I'm like, okay, how the heck do I make a purse? Does he steal his mother's credit card? Does he trip over it?
I'm gonna buy a keyboard.
Does he find a purse on the road? I don't know. So that was fun. That was an interesting. This is a weird episode, but I think this one definitely went better than last time. I'll tell you that much.
More energy.
So
I pulled a water bottle and I was like, okay, maybe there's another kid in the hospital that gives him a water bottle, and I was like, I'm running out of time. Mom, give him the water bottle quick. But no, that was fun.
That was good.
We hope you guys enjoyed this as well, and if you want to see more, definitely let us know. Another reminder. We got t-shirts. We have a website for t-shirts and other merch. Go ahead and check it out. It's on Redbubble. The store is called Tantastics. We will post a link in the description of the bottom of this video just for you, so you can check it out right now. Click on it. Go. Do it. Right now, if you want to.
But right now.
But right now.
But right now. But yeah, at least go check out the store. Even if you don't buy anything, at least just go take a look at it. See if there's anything that you could like send to a friend or be like, hey, this reminds me of you. Or something like that.
Or if you look at it and you say, hey, here's an idea for a t-shirt, do it. Suggest it. I'll look at it and I'll start designing like crazy, guys.
We take a look at all of our emails and all of our comments. So if you do say stuff, then we will see it. Mm-hmm. So all in all, yeah, that's pretty fun. The story was pretty fun. Everything's pretty fun, and we're having a lot more stuff happen at the moment. So thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have a fantastic day.